Hi guys, Shelley Fitzgerald, Sew Shelley Quilts. This will be the second video on this little design that I digitized with this piece of fabric. The very last thing we did, I had typed in the word Henry and used remove overlaps. And at the beginning, before I started this video, I went ahead and pushed undo. And that way, let me show you that those overlaps are no longer cut into the little truck. And I did that because I remembered that I want to use the same truck for John. And I think I want to do some changing to this design still. So I undid where I removed the overlaps of the lettering. And one of the things I can tell I want to do is fix this outline. It's double around these wheels right here. So I'm going to select the outline. I'm going to right click and I'm going to push hide others so that all I have is the outline showing. And then I'm going to go to show individual objects so that I can see the parts of the outline. And on the truck part, I'm going to use that knife again. So I'm going to come back into the edit. There is my knife. And I'm going to cut it right here. So I made a cut. Let me zoom in on one side of the line, and I'm going to make it on the other side and push enter. And then I'm going to come in here. Let's select the truck again. And then I'm going to use the knife and I'm going to push here, here, enter. And now I should be able to take this part and delete. And so now that doesn't have that double outline like it did right here. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to zoom in, select. Let me turn off that so you can tell what's selected. Use the knife, and what I turned off was I went into the, artistic view. I turned off show artistic view. So I cut it on that side, and I'm just zooming in and out with my wheel, and there's my knife. I'm going to cut it right here. Cut, click, click, enter. And now I will click away and then select that one little piece and delete. And so that knife makes it really awesome. The next thing I want to do, I'm going to come in and use reshape object. And I'm going to zoom in and zoom down to the end of that wheel. Whoops, I'm lost. Well, I'll use the 0 and find where I am again. And now let me just draw a bounding box. Get in zoomed on that area that I want. And now reshape object, click on that design, and I want to just scoot that over a little bit. I want them to cross, but not so much. And then over here, I'm going to zoom in. I'll move that start box and move that back so that it doesn't come into the design. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And I will click and I'll move that stop. The red square. Nope. I grabbed the dot that I wanted. Good for me. I'll zoom out and I'll come over here and I'll click on this and move the dot so that they overlap but not by so much. Okay, and now I can grab the outline and the wheels that touch. So that one, the big wheel, let's get the truck, the little bumper. Oh, it's at the beginning. And then the belly of the truck right there. So let's zoom in and see what all we selected. I've got the outline of the truck, the bumper of the truck, the outline of the wheel, the outline of the wheel. And what I'm going to do is come in to my edit toolbox. And I'm going to say use Blackwork Run. And when I click this, there'll be a message in the bottom left corner of my screen that says enter entry point. So I will just click anywhere on the design, and boom, you can see where now it made all of that truck one stitch, and it will double stitch that without jumping around. So I'm going to right click, unhide all, and let's see what else we may want to do. I'll go back into artistic view. I'm going to push 0. Now I think that this green fill could be a little bit more interesting, so I may change the fill on a lot of these. All of this design has got the default fill, and so I'm going to, last time I came up and I clicked on the properties up here, but this time I'm just going to double click and it will open the object properties. And here we have the fill type, so I could choose a different kind of fill. I will still probably leave it as a step fill, but I think I will go ahead and choose a different style, and I can tell what those might look like when I look at the true view over here. And then I know that when I choose one and say apply, I can see the different angles. And because it was a digitized square, I can also say OK and come into reshape object, and I can change the angle of the stitch. So I could make that look more like straight up and down, or straight to the side, or however I wanted that stitch angle. I'm going to double click, go back to select and then double click. I can change the stitch spacing and make it not as thick, and so I could go to maybe 0.7, apply, OK, and then it's not quite as heavy. Now the little truck, I went clear out to 1, and that's not a very solid fill, and I think I wanted a little more solid. So and I'm going to double click and open the object properties again, and I had that at 1. I'm going to put that back to 0.6 and say apply and take a peek at what that might look like. You know, I may just still leave it at 0.45. It's original. Let's see what that looks like. Yep, I like that better. And, you know, it's just a little child's backpack, so I'm not going to do a whole lot. I do think that H could move a little bit again up. I don't want it touching that wheel. So now I'm more pleased with this design after fixing that outline and changing that fill in the window. And so now I'm ready to send this. So I'm going to do a file save as and save this for Henry, and then I'm going to change the name. I'll put that out on my desktop, and I will call that Henry Truck and save. It'll say I've already got one, and I'll say yes, I want to replace it. And now the last thing I'm going to do is choose the name Henry, and I could double click and then just edit that. Well, let's just delete it. And then I will come in and digitize lettering. I'm going to right click, which opened the object properties, and this time I'll put in John. I'm still on Child's Play because I haven't closed the software from first video to second video, and that's what I was already using. I will say apply, OK, and then I'll click, and there's the word John. I once again am going to use the outline only to line that up, so I'm going to hit Control, right click, hide others, and now the word John, I'm going to come into the Edit toolbox. I will break it apart and Then the J, I'm going to increase the size of. I'll select the whole thing out of the toolbox, out of the color film, and move it. And resize it a little bit more. I'm going to resize the whole thing. And just because, I think I'll click it again so that I get rotation handles. Once again, I think I'll rotate it a little bit. I'll right click over here, unhide all. And now I can say File, Save As. I'm going to put that out on my desktop also. And I will say John Truck. Save. Now I think most of you know to send that to the machine. I could either connect the machine directly, just connect my computer to the machine, or put a USB stick in. I'm just going to hit the little sewing machine and the icon will come up, and I will choose then to send it via the USB stick, and it will go out in an EXP format. If I had connected the machine directly, I would be able just to stitch it or save it to the machine. If I had a Deco or an old serial port machine, I would use these. If I had a Bernina 730, I might use the ART file. So you could use the EXP or the ART on a 730. So, all right, so that's what we're doing on session 2. I am Shelley Fitzgerald, Sew Shelley Quilts. Thank you for coming. Be sure to subscribe. I'll see you later. Bye for now.